What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, it is the final one of the year because today I figured you know what, why not go out with the bang then by talking about the brand new Super Heavy Samurai support in Cyberstorm Access. So yeah, if you guys don't know anything about the archetype known as the Super Heavy Samurais, this archetype is it's a rather interesting archetype because the idea of the Super Heavy Samurais, they're designed to have nothing but all monsters in the main deck, and the only way you can use their effects is if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard. So as long as you don't have any spells or traps at all in your graveyard, then you're okay. You can use their effects. So it is a bit of a, there are a bunch of downsides to it. But honestly, I've never worked with the archetype before, but I'm very curious as to what some of these can do. And judging by this first one that I'm going to be talking about here in a second, I can assure you it's going to be it's not going to be. I don't think it's ever going to see competitive play. Maybe if we got even more support for them, then yeah, you know what, maybe we will see it get competitive play, but hopefully you guys are ready for this video. If you guys are and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos in the future, which do get posted every Tuesday and sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Make sure, and also too guys, make sure you guys check out the community tab. I've been posting quite a bit on there as of late, so make sure you guys check it out. Leave some likes on the posts, comment, and all of that. And also too guys, if you guys missed out on yesterday's video, I basically was doing an episode of WWE's Biggest Issue where I was basically just reflecting on everything on some of the craziest things that we had seen in WWE in 2022, and what we could expect to see take place in 2023. But I will be doing that tomorrow with Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. But you guys are wondering why? Well, Friday I am going to be doing a top 10 video to basically end the year, and I've got three top 10 videos, but I don't know which one I'm going to start with first. I'll have to think about that, but again, it will be a special Wednesday edition of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Can't wait for that one. But let's get straight into it. Kicking things off, we got Super Heavy Samurai Bike, which is a two-star Earth Machine tuner with 800 attack and 1200 defense, and I believe each of these have. Seriously? Come on, thank you. So each of these has so each of these super heavy samurai monsters have effects where if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you can actually do something with them. Super Heavy Samurai Bike's effect reads, if you have no spells or traps in your grave, you can discard this card, add a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand, except this card. So this is basically your Stratos, I guess you could say, which isn't too bad. It does give you a search, and it does help thin out the deck a little bit. But the only downside, though, is that the card that you search out might end up being a brick. So the way I would see it, you would normally want to hard draw your bricks and just combo up from there. But if you're gonna be searching out your bricks, then I think Super Heavy Samurai Bike is probably the best way to go. It does have a second effect where it reads, once per turn you can target one machine monster control that has a level, increase its level by 2. This basically can instantly give you like a 6-star, 8-star, 10-star, 12-star synchro right off the bat, which is actually not too shabby. Next up, we've got Super Heavy Samurai Spy, which is a 1-star Earth Machine, 200 attack, 700 defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads, if you have no spells and traps in your grave, special summon this card from your hand. So obviously it is a Cyber Dragon, and you know it's going to be interesting. This one is no different. It is no different. The second effect reads, if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard, which is a quick effect, tribute this card, target a spell or trap in your opponent's grave, set it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it... Excuse me. Oh, ow. Sorry guys, I accidentally hit my knee on my desk, which is loose. Anyway, this card with this effect, it basically just helps you gain access to pretty much any and all floodgates that your opponent sent to their graveyard, which could be skill drain, there could be only one, there could be literally a fuck ton of cards. But I think if there was one card that you would want to go after, it would probably have to be it would probably have to be something like Ghost Match or Rivalry of Warlords, because I know those cards didn't see a lot of competitive play until we got into, what was it, Shadows of Valhalla, where we saw, I think it was the Alistair decks, the Alistair archetype get reprinted. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There's a note underneath that says, on 32 sounds like on Mitsu, undercover agents of the Shogunate. Alright, I mean, it's something. Next up, we've got Super Heavy Samurai Soul Gaia Booster, which is a 4-star Earth Machine, 0 attack and defense. Both of its, and the second effect is a once per turn, which the first effect reads, you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster control, equip this card from your hand or field to it, and it's treated as a tuner. This basically just helps go into your synchro plays really quickly, which is pretty cool. The second effect reads, if you have no spells and traps in your grave, while this card is equipped to a monster, by its own effect, you can special summon this card. So if you target, let's say you target any 4-star Super Heavy Samurai that you have on board. Let's say that, and you equip it to this card. As long as you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you're able to just bounce it from the back row onto the front lines. Excuse me. And that right there basically gives you an 8-star synchro, which could be a myriad of things, including a Cypher Omega or a Draco Berserker of the Tenny, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have Super Heavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. I probably butchered it, but I do apologize. It's a 4-star Dark Machine Pendulum Tuner with 1100 attack, 1500 defense. Its pendulum skill is 8, and the pendulum effect is a once per turn, which reads: if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you can place one Super Heavy Samurai Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone except this card. Then special summon this card. So it basically acts as a replacer, if you will. So you basically get to replace this card with any other Super Heavy Samurai Pendulum monster, and then you get to summon this card from your pen zone, which is actually not too bad. I mean, again, because of the fact that it's a 4-star, tuner, it basically just helps you go into go into any of your synchro plays that you may have at your disposal. But it can also help go into your Xyz plays if you run any Xyz as well, which is pretty cool. Now for its monster effect. It has 2 separate effects, both of which are once per turn. Which the first effect reads: if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard, you can discard one monster, special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand, or deck in defense. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. So it does lock you out, but it is a great way to thin out the deck and get the chance to see more of your hand traps. I guess you could say. I know that that some Super Heavy Samurai decks do run, funny enough, cards like I think Macrocosmos and I think like Dimensional Fissure, where you can take any of your back row cards and banish them after you've used them, so you can actually use your Super Heavy Samurai's effects, which is pretty nasty, but it's pretty fucking good in my honest opinion. The second effect reads: if this card is used as synchro material and added to the extra deck face up, you can place it in your Pendulum Zone. So it basically just bounces back onto the Pen Zone, which lets you gain access to its Pendulum effect again, and it ends it's basically it's a loop, which is pretty cool. There's a note underneath that reads: Ushi Wakamaru is the childhood name of the famous military commander Minamoto no Yoshitune. He fought and defended Benkei. Okay, nice little history lesson over there. Not too shabby. Next up, we have Super Heavy Samurai Monk Warrior Big Benkei. Yeah, that's quite the mouthful. 8-star Earth Machine Pendulum, 1000 attack, 3500 defense. Its pen skill is 1, and both of its monster effects are once per turn. And I believe, if I remember correctly, a lot of the Super Heavy Samurai synchros and some of the main deck monsters have effects where you can use their defense to attack, which is hilarious. The pendulum effect, as I said, is a once per turn, which reads: if you control a Super Heavy Samurai monster, you can add a Super Heavy Samurai Soul monster from your deck to your hand. So this is basically another one of your Stratos effects, which is pretty nice. Not much else to say about that. Again, as I mentioned, its monster effects are once per turn, which the first one reads: if you have no spells or traps in your grave, you can send one Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkei from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. So it acts as sort of like a Foolish Burial, where you can just send, where you can send Big Benkei from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and then just immediately Cyber Dragon this card from your hand to the front lines, which is pretty cool. But what's even more cool about it is that I believe the pendulum effects, both of the pendulum monsters have the effect where have the same second effect, where it says that if this card is used as synchro material and added to the extra face up, place it in your pendulum zone. So that's not too bad. That ain't too shabby. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we've got synchros, baby. We got synchros. So first up, we have Super Heavy Samurai Overlord Masaru. Masaru? I probably just butchered it. I apologize. I apologize. I believe it's supposed to be pronounced Masaru. Masaru. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Let's see here. 12-star Earth Machine Synchro, 2100 attack, 4000 defense, and requires a tuner and one or more non-tuners, of course. And it has 3 separate effects, which the first effect reads, this card can attack while in face-up defense position. If it does, apply its defense for damage cal. Yeah, that's basically what I meant. The second effect reads, if a Super Heavy Samurai monster or monster's control would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy one Super Heavy Samurai card you control instead, which could also mean the pendulum monsters as well, which is pretty cool. The third effect reads, once per turn, if your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect, you can draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. So if you have 1 card in your hand, it's a pot of greed. If you have 2 cards, it's a jar of greed. But if you don't have any cards in your hand, it's basically graceful charity, but without having to discard 2 cards, which is pretty insane. There's a note underneath that reads, this card appears to be named after a famous sumo wrestler, Hiro Masaru, a lighter wrestler in the top division, and was a favorite of the audience. He favored grappling and throwing over the more standard pushing techniques. Okay, it's a nice little history lesson right there. That's pretty cool. And it looks like we have another. Oh, this is the last one. Okay, so this is the last card that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and I think I might talk about a brand new Jump promo that I just saw. Or you know what? I think I'll talk about the holographic rare. Yeah, I will talk about what the holographic rare will be in the set, but you guys are not gonna believe what that card will be. But next up, now we have Super Heavy Samurai General Shanao. Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Shanao. 8-star Dark Machine Synchro Pendulum, 2200 attack, 2500 defense. Its pen skill is 1, and its monster effect, and both of its monster effects are, I believe, once per turn. Or actually, the first effect is permanent. The second effect is a once per turn. The pendulum effect reads. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card. Then if you have no spells or traps in your grave, change that opponent's monster's attack to 0, and its effects are negated, which then ends up triggering the first effect of this monster, which reads that this card can attack while in face-up defense, and if it does, apply its defense for damage cal, which is pretty insane. The second effect reads, once per turn during the battle phase, if you control the Synchro Summon card as a quick effect, you can special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your graveyard or face-up spell and trap zone, then place this card in your pendulum zone. So it basically acts as, again as I mentioned, acts as a replacer, which is pretty cool. Not much to say about this archetype, because I've never worked with it before, but I believe this deck, the archetype, saw competitive play. What was it, 2015, 2016, if I remember correctly? It's been a while. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But there are a couple of notes underneath that reads. The first one reads, this card seems to be named after famous pro wrestler Sugi Taskuya, I believe is how it's pronounced, who during his run in Michinoku Pro Wrestling developed the onstage persona of Shanao, a Buddhist monk inspired by Yoshitsune, the swordsman who defeated Benkei. Later, Mr. Sugi would change his persona from Chanel to flat-out Yoshitsune. And there's also Ark's personal note that reads, just as an observation, the connection of sumo and pro wrestling, I think, is to tie Gongenzaka's heavy, strong... Gon's, Gon, okay, Gon from Arc 5. Gon's, heavy, strong style, or steadfast style, to sumo wrestling where excessive innovation tends to be viewed as heresy, as it's a very codified sport, whereas wrestling is all about more fluid innovation. Okay, I mean that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But now we got to talk about the holographic, the big holographic rare that people are thinking is going to be the chase card. But looking at the effects, I really don't think so. But I could be wrong. It is known as Sword Emperor Sumu Haku Tsunagi. I know, I'm butchering the name, I know, but it's an 11-star Wind Warrior Spirit, so we're fine. So we are getting brand new Spirit support, which is pretty cool. But let's be honest here, the deck is not going to see any competitive play at all. By the way, shoutouts to Brisk for the lemonade. Not sponsored. Best drink Brisk has ever made. I'm just saying. Don't at me, guys. Do not at me in the comments. That's just my personal opinion. But it does have 3,000 attack and defense, and it says cannot be special summoned. You can tribute summon this card by tributing a normal summon or set monster. And it has two separate effects, which reads, if this card is normal summon or flip face up, activate this effect. Your opponent can send any number of cards they control to the grave, and if they do, each player draws an equal number of cards. During the end phase of this turn, shuffle all cards that are banished on the field and in the graveyards into the deck. So this basically acts as sort of like a really weird fiber jar, but it's not too bad. It's sort of like fiber jar, but it is what it is. I don't think I think just plain fiber jar will probably work a lot better in my opinion. But the second effect reads, once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summon or flip face up this turn, return this card to the hand. So yeah, judging by the effect, it's not gonna be as good as people may think, but I am curious as to what you guys have to say about the card. But this brings me to the question of the day, which is this: do you guys believe the Super Heavy Samurais will see competitive play with the new support? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which get posted every Tuesday and sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. The links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And don't forget to check out the community tab. I've been posting quite a bit on there as of late, so be sure to check out the community tab. Leave some likes, post comments, all that, and all that good shit. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.